We have to make the first 3 from behind our half-court line and then dunk the stress ball for the win.
I just ended you right now.
Nope.
I'm dunking. Was it good?
That was like a... What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to our very first episode of the Courtside Club, where we give you exclusive access to your favorite athletes, entrepreneurs, creators. And today I am super excited to have one of my good friends. He's also the most legendary street ball player in the world, in my personal opinion. He's an actor, a social media star. You guys are all familiar with him. Grayson Boucher, which I just learned how to pronounce your last name today.
Perfect.
AKA the Professor. Grayson, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, glad to be here.
Welcome to the Courtside Club.
Thank you.
I feel like we have collaborated so many times, but this is the first time that I've been able to really like sit down with you.
Yeah.
And chat. And one of the things on Courtside Club that we like to do is give our audience a courtside view, because obviously you have millions of fans around the world, but they're sitting in the bleachers, you know? We want to give them that inside, that exclusive look.
Got you. Definitely. And when was the first time we did collab? I'm trying to think. This is goes way back now, right?
Honestly.
For 2K.
Did we meet? Yeah, but I think we met before that, right? Like through YouTube Space or something?
No, I remember it was a dunk contest we both hosted. It was like me, you, and Isaiah Ryder for Ball is Life. We judged a dunk contest.
Yeah, that was way back.
I can't remember what year it was, though. It was like 2015, 2016, maybe 2014.
Yeah, I wasn't at 2K yet.
Okay.
Right? I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyways, we go way back. We've collaborated multiple times. You've been on my YouTube channel. I've even helped you out with your Spiderman series.
Yes, it's awesome. Some of my favorite episodes, too.
Spiderman Basketball was huge for you.
Yeah, Spiderman Basketball actually blew up my YouTube channel. So, I started my YouTube, and it was funny because I started the channel initially just to get more exposure for bookings. So super early, and I was trying to just put a bunch of stuff out there because I saw the decline of And1 a little bit, and I recognized that getting an international booking was like a big check for me, you know what I mean? Because you're going overseas, so it's a bigger payday. And so I was like, cool. And then when And1 ended, I was like, we need to go crazy with this because this is now my TV channel. And I recognized that I didn't think it would ever be on the level of TV. Funny enough, back at that time, I didn't think, but I was like, this is virtually your own TV channel for free distribution.
Right.
So I was like, let's go. So I was trying to flood it. But then basically what I was getting at is 2013, Spiderman Basketball episode 1 took my channel to 1 million subs in a week.
That's insane.
Yeah, the videos, episode 1 did 6 million views in a week, and then my channel went to 1 million subs. From 17,000 to 1 million subs overnight. Were
you expecting with Spiderman Basketball that it was going to do that?
No, so my friend Rob, who you know, right? Shout out to Rob Monroe. He was like, yo, this would be great. He said, why don't we have you dress as a superhero, go play people one at the park. We'll choose Spider-Man because it covers every part of the body. So now it's a prank. So it's like we're mixing prank with sports, with comedy, you know what I mean? Like all these things in one.
In the cosplay, I guess.
Yeah, in cosplay. So we go do it. We were literally shot in like 30 minutes. We thought it was hilarious, right? It's kind of like a grown man dressed in a costume going, it's not an everyday thing. So we were like laughing, but that was like really funny. So we got home that night. I had a flight early in the morning. So it's taking forever to upload. So I woke up in the morning for my flight. It's still uploading. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to leave.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I just left my computer on, so I'll turn it off when I get back Monday or whatever. This is like, so by the time I got to the airport, it already had like 300,000 views.
That's crazy.
And then by the time I got on the plane, it had like 1 million. By the time I got to Chicago, it had like 2.5 million. Like this video's just going berserk.
Right.
End of the week, it was like 6 million or something like that. And then to date, it has like 50 or 60. The funny thing is we thought it was just going to be comedy. And I didn't know anything about, like you're saying, Spider-Man, like I didn't know anything. Rob knew all about it. Now I learned like there's genius in comic books and stuff like that, right? But we thought it was just gonna be funny, but people took it as like swag. They were like, oh, Spider-Man, like that's clean.
Yeah.
We thought it was more like fun. I didn't expect that. So that was funny how it came together. But no, Rob knew all of Spider-Man. He kind of put me on to cosplay and comic culture, and I learned it from there. So
I'm kind of mad actually because originally my role in the series, so I did one episode with you where we first met or whatever.
Episode 9, by the way. Y'all go check that. You were in...
I did 2 episodes with you.
I think it's Spiderman.
The first one I was with my friends, remember playing ball, and we met, and you were not Spider-Man. You were in your Peter Parker outfit.
Yeah.
And we were at the park. It was windy or whatever, and I was shooting. So then the second episode is where you saved me as Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah.
But then you broke up with me, right?
Yeah, we broke up.
Okay.
This all happened the same. Yeah, so I think it's Spider-Man Basketball episode 9, and then you're on the very last one.
Yes.
It's like 11.
Yes.
I think we went to 11.
Okay, but I have a bone to pick with you because I was supposed to die off.
Oh.
Do you remember? You told me I was gonna die.
Oh, we said potentially. I don't think we went that route. Like, sorry, you didn't get that.
That's what I'm saying. I wanted to. I was like, man, this is my acting debut.
Got you.
I get to die as Gwen Stacy. I get to get dunked on, and it just takes me out.
We did talk about that.
I got cut from the Spider-Man series.
No, basically what happened was the video stopped doing as good, but I think also we kind of we deep dove into story, and it's really it was all about hooping, you know what I mean? So we deep dove.
Listen, I'm joking. I wouldn't have had you on the Courtside Club if I was really that pissed, but I feel like that would have been dope. So maybe there's just this side 3-minute episode.
Maybe they want us to bring it back, you know what I mean? So we might have to consider that. I don't know.
We'll consider it.
All right.
We got a little bit off track. I do want to dive into your upbringing because you've been in this game literally for nearly your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in Oregon, right?
Yes.
When did you start hooping?
Started playing basketball actually when I was 2 years old. I have a picture hooping with my dad in the
2?
driveway. Yeah, he put the basketball in my hands really young. And then I had this Larry Bird Nerf hoop. And it was funny because even at 2 years old, I would tell my whole family, at family gatherings, I'd be like, ready? Watch, you know what I mean? And then I'd shoot or whatever, or go dunk on the little Nerf hoop. So yeah, I started young.
Did you come from athletes, a family of athletes?
Not on the collegiate or pro level. My uncle was he won a national championship, as a wrestler or something like that. But no, my dad, we just loved the game. He had a passion for it, just playing city leagues, recreational.
Yeah. I feel that's similar because people always ask me do you have a family of athletes? I'm I'm actually the first one, kind of. You know, my dad played at the park. Mm-hmm. My mom is the first one to say that she's the biggest dork. You know, she won MVP in volleyball when she was in 6th grade or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just think it's funny sometimes when athletes come from that because you find the passion within yourself almost, right? You're not looking at your dad as a pro basketball player and be I want to emulate him. You clearly, you found a love for the game somehow. Do you remember when that spark came?
Yeah, I think I decided or realized I had loved the game at 3rd or 4th grade, actually. So at that point, it was I want to make the NBA, you know?
So that was your goal?
The NBA, for sure.
What was that?
Yeah,
NBA?
Playing for a living.
Some of your older fans, we talked about it earlier, might know you from And1. Mm-hmm. I personally do, which it's kind of surreal that we've become friends and worked together as much as we have because you are somebody who I looked up to and just what you did with And1 was dope. That whole crew that you guys had. And you created this culture in hoops that was very special for a lot of people. You know, and then there's an audience now who is younger who only knows you from YouTube and your social media and whatnot. I don't even know. How did you get that call from And1? How did you make that decision to go play?
So And1, first off, humbled. Thanks for supporting for so long. It's funny that today I found out you even knew what And1. I actually didn't know that. I knew you probably knew of it, but I didn't know you watched it. I didn't know that.
I was so into me as a hooper, right? Mm-hmm. I had a completely different style of play than you. I was just a straight shooter. Yeah. But I was obsessed with that kind of culture. That was the cool culture of basketball. My favorite player was Allen Iverson. Mm. Just the swag, the way that hoopers carried themselves, you know what I mean? And I was just the shooter who couldn't jump or run fast or dribble. But
still could be admired, right? Regardless.
Yeah. And no, and I did great in what I did, but that was so cool and I feel so monumental. And we needed that, you know what I mean? And in that time.
100%.
So what year was that when you first signed?
So this is 2003. My favorite player in the NBA was Allen Iverson at that time too. I think Jordan retired that same year actually.
Yeah.
So And1, I was already a fan of it. 2003, they're having open tryouts.
So it was an open tryout.
Yeah, so this was an open trial that they would have before every tour stop. So yeah, so I hop in there, nothing to lose, and I just start showing out. This is how I played. I was culturing And1. So I started showing out. The crowd started going berserk. You know what I mean? Because people don't know, at 18, like people say I look young for my age now, right? At 18, it looked like I was 10 or 12. Like,
True.
Like crazy young. So...
And also, like, the jerseys at that time, the shorts and the jerseys just made everybody look so small because they were so baggy.
Yeah, there was the parachute clothing era. Like, if my shorts didn't touch my socks, I thought they were too small.
Yeah.
That's just to give you an idea. Sleeves got to be past the elbow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like the baggy you were, like the harder you were. So, anyway, getting the open run, I pulled a couple moves off. Like, the dudes I'm going against, they over 6 foot. And I'm, at the time, I'm probably like 5'7" or whatever, so they losing it. And then prime objective, one of my ex-teammates, he was out there and he kind of like noticed me first. And then by the end of the trial, all the And1 players were there like on the stage. And I think they even left it up to the crowd, like, who should go in? Is it this kid? Or there's like some other dunker dude. And so like our applause was almost equal. So they're like, cool, they're both coming in. So we go in, and I think it's at Memorial Coliseum where the Blazers used to play. And then play against Team And1. Next thing I know, I'm going against one of my idols, Hot Sauce. We having this back and forth, and he even like slid me one time. I like touched the ground, but then I was going back at him, and the crowd liked it. I didn't back down, so I didn't go berserk that game, but I got the crowd really excited. I probably had like 8 points, couple of alley-oops or something. And then afterwards, they came in the locker room, and main event was like, "Yo, we decided to pick you." You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm like, I don't even know what he means. So I'm like, okay. I was like, respect. Then the corporate comes in after the camera's cut and they leave the room. A corporate comes in. So, yeah, you've been selected to go on tour with us. Like, are you going? And I was like, on tour? I was like, oh, on tour? I was like, why? they're like, they liked your play. You know what I mean? Like you did really good. So like, you're in this thing. And then I knew that there was an ongoing TV show because I'm like the biggest fan of it ever. So I'm on tour. I stay on for about 3 weeks. I'm going crazy. I'm doing things that like I couldn't duplicate, right? Buzzer shots.
Yeah.
Scored 30, crazy highlights against like guys who are pro level. It just so happened the summer or the off season prior to that, the little spring summer leading up to that, improved like 300%. I was a dude who played 2 minutes a game at community college. So when the show came on 3 weeks later, I see the ESPN show. I'm hoping I can like pause it so I could tell my friends back home, like maybe one of my highlights would make the show.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize I was like the star of the show. The show was about the people trying to get on the And1 team. And I remember being nervous. I was in my hotel watching it. It was, it was on ESPN. But I'm like, I got probably 20 minutes of airtime. The show's only 30. So I was just like...
But also, you're not from this world, so how would anybody know?
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because I was so young, I was so immature. They probably told me everything, but I just, missed that detail.
You're
that
like,
the
I'm
whole
just
show
hooping. Yeah.
is about finding new talent, because I just feel like I was so far below my idols, you know what I mean, that I'm like, I don't deserve... You can't put me on the show, more than them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So... I remember after that, my phone just, blew up. I couldn't even take a call. It's just bringing so much or whatever, but... It was good times. It happened all really, really fast. So that's how I went through that whole summer. I hit a buzzer shot at Madison Square Garden 2 games before the end. And then I had a showdown with Hot Sauce in the hood. The last game was in Main Event's hood in Linden, New Jersey. So on the show, they were like, all right, so you can do it in the arenas, but can you do it in the hood? And so we had this back and forth or whatever. And that's how I won the contract.
That's dope.
Yeah.
But I remember the storylines were kind of one of my favorite parts about the show because it was the first time that anybody's done something like that. And we didn't have social media at the time either.
Right.
Do you think you came into fame pretty quickly? Was that hard being that young? Or were you just riding the wave?
I was having so much fun. It's hard for me to say it was hard or problematic. I think, if I would look at the cons, because there's pros and cons to everything, right? The pros was I was living my dream. My idols were now my teammates, and then soon to become friends and family or whatever. The cons of it were I wasn't really ready to manage money, partying too much. We got in a little bit of trouble in certain regards.
That's that's hard for me to hear now because you're not that guy now.
Oh, no, not at all.
Like, you're the most, like, chill. Like, when I'm describing you to people, I'm like, he's super humble. He's nice. He's, like, chill. He's, like, a regular dude who just happens to be, like, a legend in the basketball world. You know what I mean? So, like, to think you were, like, partying sounds, I don't know. Like,
out of character.
Obviously, yeah, but you were 18 and you were, like, living the dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're trying to live it up. But I had so much gratitude just to be in that position because my whole career, I looked like I was 12 or like my whole time, like even in high school, right? Like I was on JV as a junior, but like my identity was in
That's
basketball.
crazy.
So that was a big hit to my pride and everything. I had skills like offensively, but on defense, I like shied away from contact. And then like I looked so young that like coaches didn't really want to like give me the opportunity.
That's honestly like saying that you were on JV is wild to me.
Yeah.
Because now you've gone up against former NBA players, current NBA players. Like, you go to any park and you're dropping somebody. You know what I mean? So, like, to know that, like, a high school system, I guess, didn't accept kind of this kind of ball that you were playing. Or maybe you were timid. I don't know.
No, you're exactly right. So where I was coming up in Oregon, the style of play was very like Hoosiers, very like, you know, people would call it like Princeton offense. We're going to run these defensive things. So like if you went out of the offense and like cross somebody over, throw a no-look pass or like score, like it might come off in that environment as like a little bit showboaty or whatever. And then like I was like good, but I wasn't like ranked in the state, so I probably didn't have the trust of my coaches to be able to like show out like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and then if you make a mistake doing a flashy move, like you'll get benched quicker than if you're just throwing a regular bounce pass and it goes out of bounds, you do a turnover or whatever. But you're throwing it behind your back and it goes out of bounds, your coach is like, get him out of here. You know?
That's what I always tell kids, like, because that whole And1 era, everybody wanted to copy the moves, right? But we
used to do it. My AAU team used to.
Yeah, I mean, I played like an And1 when I was in high school, but like you have to earn the trust of your coach. Like, if you're gonna be flashy, you better be the starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that and not take away from what's going on, like you got to have the trust of like if your coach is gonna let you cross people over and throw no look passes, and then by the time I'm a senior, I go between the legs, and all this stuff. You know what I mean? But by the time I was a senior, I transferred to a smaller school and I had the trust of my coach to be able to do it. So it's more like seamless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good senior year. I transferred to this like really small Christian school for like better opportunity. But then again, like no college offers.
So you gave up your college eligibility to play with And1 because...
Yeah, because I wasn't going anywhere. And then my parents supported it, like to my surprise at that time. But they had invested so much into my dream. Like I wouldn't do what I do today without my parents' support. Like they put me in AAU. I went to all clinics and camps. I always had like nice shoes. I had a personal trainer by the time I was in 4th grade that I worked with all the way up until, even being on And1. So they had invested so much into it and they knew I wasn't going anywhere like at the community college. So they were like, yeah, let's do it. And if at that time And1 was so popular, we felt like it was going to be around forever, like the Globetrotters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think too, we're similar in the fact that like we're not necessarily built like ball players, right? Like you're smaller in general, so you have to control the things that you can control. So for me, I chose shooting. I was like, I'm just gonna be a lights out shooter. That's it. That's what I like to do. That's what I can do, and that's how I got my scholarship and excelled how I wanted to in basketball. But I feel like a lot of kids nowadays also need to understand that because right now on social media, you just see highlights, or it's like somebody doing moves like you, but like you had a trainer. I never knew that you had a personal trainer since 4th grade and you were doing all of these different things. You probably had to work harder and smarter than some kids who maybe were born 6'5",
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, that's what I tell kids now. There's a whole, like, a lot of kids like to, or parents will say like size doesn't matter. That's kind of like a word, right? Size doesn't matter, but like it does. Like the smaller you are, the more skilled you're gonna have to be. Or like you say, you were expert at shooting, so it's like your shooting's gonna need to be elite for you to be on. You know what I mean? So yeah, because like, and that's what I always tell people too. People don't really think about it like this, but like size, strength, and speed are a better asset than being high skilled because at the end of the day, high skilled is based on how you perform that day. Size and strength ain't going nowhere. Like by default, you're gonna have your size and strength.
True.
That's why in the NBA game, like that's really like a size and strength game. Not that guys aren't skilled. It's like It's like people have both, but even some posts you could be like, oh, maybe they're not the most skilled, but they're so damn strong and big. It's
Right.
like, they got that spot.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I never really made it until I got on And1. I never really made it. And like, even I had a good senior year, but outside of that, my environment allowed me to think maybe I wasn't really that good when it came to organized ball, because I played pickup, I'll go crazy and people knew me for that. But in the season, it was like we had to conform. And so they made me think that's what basketball was in an organized level, all the way around. But by the time my And1 teammates saw me, they were like, you're not going to college? You're not going D1? And I was like, D1?
Yeah.
I got cut from 3 JUCOs, and
Right.
I only played community college ball because my dad was a jeweler. He owned a jewelry store for years, so he was selling jewelry to the head coach.
Oh my gosh.
And he persuaded him to give me an opportunity and give me a shot.
Way.
And that's the only reason. The guy was gracious enough to like let me have a tryout.
Right.
And he saw I had some skills, but he allowed me to like redshirt. And then I ended up playing because like some guys got injured. So that's the only reason I played community college.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then I don't think anybody, if you told them on the street, like I had to like ask my way into playing at a community college, they'd be like, shut up, Grayson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you remember the feeling that you had when And1 was ending?
Yeah, definitely a feeling of
It
like
was the end of an era for sure.
what's next. And then partially I couldn't believe it either. Like it astounded me, but I didn't know a lot about business. Like when a business gets bought out, right? It's just like a team or a program gets a new coach. It's new system, new view, new outlook, new approach. So the people that bought And1, they looked at the numbers on paper and it was good, but they didn't know the whole thing was built off street ball. So they tried to like, we're just going to do NBA and go the traditional route.
It's different now, though, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different. And I think if you didn't grow up in the era that we did, you'll never really be able to understand like the impact that it had, which I think kids today will say something else impacted them, whether it's, like social media or some other wave that we've had in sports. But that was something that was really big. So I can just imagine, and I've had transitions in my life where I've like graduated from big stages, even leaving the game of basketball in general, walking away from my college team was like one of the toughest decisions. And then trying to figure out what's next when that's something that's like your whole identity or something that was like so fun. Like, did you feel lost at all, or was it?
No, I was gonna say I was lost. I'm like, dang, what's next? Because outside of street ball on that highest level, you had like actual street ball, like at ground level, like Rucker Park and like these leagues on the East Coast. But you get like a little money here and there. It's like, it's hard to make a career. And then me coming from Oregon, try to like move to New York and do that living. It doesn't even make sense, right? You want to do something that's going to stick around for the long term. So when I would go overseas, like I remember we went to Europe and even Australia, and like people would approach me and be like, Professor, I love your work. And I'd be like, thanks for watching the show. I used to just say that, right?
Right.
Thanks for checking out the show. I appreciate you. And they'd be like, no, I saw your stuff on YouTube. And so I was like, oh, YouTube. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, okay. I was like, I knew it was something on the internet, tube or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember looking into it. And then that started to be more and more of a trend. And that's why I knew like I could start my own channel and try to put videos here, because I did find out through research it was in like 20 countries at the time. Now it's a lot bigger, but like it was all over the world. So it was really just to get more bookings.
That was OG days.
Yeah.
And I want to go more into that because I feel like that's like the second chapter of your life that you've also really excelled at. But I want to take a halftime break if you're cool with that.
Let's go. And
I have a halftime game for us. I know that we normally like to showcase your ball handling whenever we collab, but today we're going to have a little shooting game.
Is that what these mini hoops are?
Yes. So halftime, we have 4 different balls in front of us.
Okay.
We're going to have to make all of them. And then the last one, which is a stress ball, to finish and win, you have to dunk it.
Okay.
All right. So just to recap, we have to make the first 3 from behind our half court line and then dunk the stress ball for the win.
Let's get it.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
okay. Oh, yeah.
Did you make it?
No, I feel less bad because you airballed it too. You know what I mean? Oh, so so I can't move until I make the wiffle ball. All right, let's go. We gotta go.
This might be the hardest one.
The wiffle.
Yes. Okay, 1 done.
Rachel, look, you are already going crazy. Already.
Oh, no. I gotta take my time.
We got it.
my god.
Underhand. Let's go.
You made it?
Yeah, I went
Catch up.
underhand.
All right, that's 2.
Third, boom. I'm on the last.
No!
I just ended you right now.
No.
I'm dunking.
Was good.
You made that. I think I won, didn't I?
I
think we
you
need
make this right when I was talking crap?
We made it at the same time, and then I ran for it.
Bro, we might have to do a slow-mo.
But we need a slow-mo
Slow-mo,
photo
oh,
finish.
Game cam.
That's
Alright, you want me to look to make sure?
Love it.
cool.
And actually, 3 was good. That could have took a minute.
Oh, look at this, Gray. Show him the last couple
That's
shots.
awesome.
Watch the last
The funny thing
shot.
is real, too. They're going to be like,
All right, there we go. Watch this one. Because I didn't make that one. Oh, wait. No, I just made that one. I missed this one a million times. You made that. I missed again.
I was like,
You made it.
And then
I
you
made
made
it.
Look, I didn't even try. I thought you skipped that one, so I was like, oh, she messing, like, whatever.
So once again, I'm the reigning champ in anything shooting. All right, it's time for the second half. Welcome back to the second half of Courtside Club. Sorry to hand you another L, Grayson.
Another L. It's a cold world, man. That other one's on YouTube, too.
True.
Last time.
We have to pull up some of those clips because I feel like we uploaded some stuff in like 2015, 16, 17 on YouTube that would kill now on like TikTok or
Right.
Reels or something.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
I want to pick up kind of where we left off in the first half and go into the second half of your career.
Sure.
I think it's pretty impressive how you've been in this game 20 years or so.
19 years as of this year.
Yeah, 19
Yeah.
years. And to stay on top like you have been and continue to like make moves in this space is a really hard thing to do. And I think for any creator out there, they can appreciate that. So let's pick off from And1.
Mm-hmm.
We go into YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Yeah, so I started the YouTube channel 2009, and then I'm just doing one-off games internationally. So by 2011, I think I got Instagram. Or sorry, 2009 was YouTube. 2011, I started Instagram. I remember I called myself Global Hoop. I tried to do like a rebrand from Professor. I was trying to go away from it. So I called myself at Global
Wait,
Hooper.
why did you go away from the Professor?
Just felt like And1 was becoming dated. I remember this girl. This girl I was dating at the time, I think it was like 2010, and she was talking about And1. And she was the first one that kind of made it apparent to me that it was like kind of something of old, right? Like time goes by fast. Sometimes you don't realize like how quick time goes by. And then you're seeing things from the inside out. You don't necessarily know how you're viewed by the market, right? Especially before social media, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
You'll laugh, even in 2022, people will come up to me and be like, are you still with And1? Or like, when's the next And1 game? And I'll be like, so that was 15 years, that was a lifetime ago. But
Yeah. So there's no escaping
I
it, is
literally
what
haven't
you're
played on
telling me.
And1 in 13 years. Yeah, you don't want to be typecast, but like often you're remembered for your biggest thing you do. So I kind of just learned it was part of the territory. So I'm like fine with it because I didn't know if like the Professor could be cool outside of And1. That was the question at the time, which it seems weird, but like I didn't know if it was possible just because ESPN hits so many people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought a rebrand was good, but then I was like, rebrands are hard. Like, why do it if you don't need to? So I
Right.
switched it back. Yeah. And I called my clothing brand that, Global Hooper. But that's where that came from. It's like, I made a living for 3 or 4 years only playing international.
Was there any countries that you felt the most love when you were traveling?
Oh, Japan. Yeah, Japan, Brazil. So Japan, people pass out. Like if you're a superstar in America, you go to Japan, you're through the, like, your head can blow up real big.
I feel like that in China, actually.
Yeah, China. And I think it's more special internationally in certain places because they know that like it's not a staple that you're gonna come there every year, right? Like And1 And1 went to Japan once or twice a year, every year from 2004 to literally 2010. So like that was over and over, but they don't know that, right? This could be their last opportunity. And over there, it's expensive to go to the game, right? So they'll lose their minds. But then Brazil I remember that sticks out in my mind too, because we played like a soccer stadium or like a tennis stadium. It was huge, you know what I'm saying? It was like 20,000
Right.
plus. And I remember we had a game on like a Wednesday and we had never been to Brazil. And1 hadn't done Brazil, right? So this is like '05 at the peak. I remember playing that game. We sold it out completely. It was like 25,000 people. They went berserk off like anything. Like, I remember I was at half court. The defender hadn't even got to me. I like did a behind the back move and they go, oh! like just to see you in action was
So
more
you're
about,
saying I have a chance in Brazil.
yeah, just the appearance was lit. You know what I mean? Just you being there. So like if you had a real move off, like you think the ceiling was gonna pop off the arena. Like it was crazy. And then it went so berserk and they sold out so quick that they asked us, like, they're like, hey, we'll double the pay. Do you guys want to stay until Sunday? We're gonna let's do another one on Sunday at the same venue, same arena. Let's just do it. And we were like, of course, like, yeah. And then we're partying in Brazil and going to the beach. So we're not turning down that one. So
Like, sure, I'll extend my vacation. Thank you
yeah,
very
so
much.
Brazil goes crazy. But those two, Japan and Brazil, really stick out in my head. But internationally, it was always like crazy.
I feel like you're really humble when you talk about kind of taking that next step or rebranding, not rebranding. Like, oh, I just, did YouTube and it worked. I did this. This was fun for me. But I think you do have to give yourself a bit more credit because this space is hard. It's hard to navigate. And especially now it changes so much. And like, you have to be adaptable on any social media platform, on YouTube. I've been through the ringer on YouTube. Like it's way different than it was.
Great. The algorithm changed like 5 times. It always gets harder every change.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because there's like more and more. Like, how do you stay on that? Or do you have a strategy? Or is it really just you putting up stuff that you love and just going for it?
No, it's it's heck of strategic.
Yeah.
So a little bit of both though, right? I don't want to do something if I don't like it a lot. But I always tell people outside of strategy, like if you just want to brand on social, you have to do 50% something you love and 50% something the audience loves. Because if you do it 100% the way you want it, like, and the audience doesn't receive it, it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to get viewership. But if you do it 100% the way the audience wants you, and you don't like it, then you're like selling out. You ain't even gonna have fun with it, so you're not going to want to do it in the long run. So I say it's got to be like a percentage of both. But then also, from a strategic standpoint, I always talk to like people who are doing it at a high level. I'll hit them up and try to get in inner circles, or even micro influencers. Some people are just really on the wave, on like trend waves. So I just try to like stay really well networked and like talk to a lot of people and then see what the trends are. And then I try to like shift my content for that. So for example, like TikTok, right? We talked about this. We did a collabs on TikTok.
But your TikTok strategy I was like, you don't even know how to, you were not using the TikTok audios. You were filming your own videos and putting them up to an audio that you like or that was trending at the time. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so like my team repurposes like something from a YouTube shoot to make a TikTok video, but I'll have ideas. I'll tell them how to do it. But basically, I just look at the viral trending songs, so anything that's top 20. I take that song and I'll put it to like a lit highlight or something like that, and then like the beat will drop like when the dude falls or when it goes off his head or whatever. So it's kind of like you're using that trendy song, but I'm not really doing the trend that actually goes with that song, and I make it basketball, so I make it my own.
Which is kind of frustrating to me because I spend hours on TikTok seeing what trends I want to hit, because I do it the exact opposite that you do. I find the sound first or the trend first, and then I shoot my video, or then I go find an old video that might fit to that song. I mean, it honestly is a testament to the kind of like videos that you put out though, because they're that good. You know what I mean? That you're able to do that. But even when we did our seated dribbling routine.
Oh, that was hard too. Did over 1 mil. Thanks to Rachel.
Wait, it has I think like 2 million on your channel.
Okay.
Doesn't it? It has like 2.7 million views.
Let's go.
Okay. So anyway, check out Grayson's TikTok. He has a lot more followers than I do. We did a seated dribbling collaboration because that is one of the trends that I think I do pretty well, which is funny because I've never been a dribbler.
Yeah, you were the first one.
But I like doing seated dribbling routines, right?
Put me onto that, yeah.
Yeah. I have to call you out a little bit because that was so out of your wheelhouse. You don't ever dribble to music.
I do. Sometimes, but like only for a second, not like a whole thing. Yeah.
But watching you, it is kind of like a dance in a way when you're doing your different dribbling moves. So in my mind, I was like, oh, this will be like easy for him. But you're like, no, this isn't the way I do it. You know
no, because I think dribbling or like basketball as an art with freestyle kind of like has its own rhythm, but it's not really like dance rhythm. Like Because think about it, you predicate whatever you want to look a certain way. And they'd be like, oh, that's like rhythmic, but like I wasn't marching to a beat. You know what I mean? So oftentimes I lay beats to edits and posts, not as we're going. Cause like, you know, I just break up YouTube videos. I'll do a straight TikTok video. It's like collab with you or like when COVID was going on, we couldn't really hoop. So I was doing like dribble combos that were like for TikTok and IG. Yeah.
I took you out of your comfort zone.
You did. It was great. It was great. I couldn't even keep up. Rachel was going to the beat seamlessly. I'm like, yo, how did you got to break that down step by step. I don't even know what you're doing.
And then you show me one move and it takes me like 4 hours to get it. I want to talk about too your new series, or that might become a series. I don't know. Your Space Jam series.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the next kind of Spider-Man move?
That was the aim initially, but it was hard to pull off. You know what I mean? Like hooping in those costumes is like.
So for people who haven't seen it, he dressed up as in the Space Jam
Bugs Bunny
outfit, essentially with the big like bunny head and everything, and went and hooped in the park.
Yeah. So everything you've seen, I think there's 4 videos up from that. It was all one day though, or excuse me, 2 days, but it was like they were like a day apart.
Right.
So we did it for 1 week and
then who did you have as Lola?
Oh, Brianna. Shout out to Bree Green.
She's a fantastic player.
Oh, she's a beast.
Yeah.
She's a beast. I felt like she could pull that off, right? Like play against dudes, not be 100%. We wear the costumes, you're like 30 or 40%, you know what I mean? And long hours. We did 2 days of 8-hour shoots, you know, off and on, obviously, but like it was long. By the end of the day, I'm energy on 0. Like I had to need 2 days to recover. And then I think we did a Monday, Thursday, but both were like from time we got there to time we left, it was 8 hours. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily like, it's hard to plan a series like Spider-Man, right? Like I just shot a lot of content and I knew at the very least we would have at least 3 videos.
Yeah. So
Bugs Bunny 1v1, the Toon Squad hitting the court, and then maybe some like individual games that happen within that. But it happened to go crazy, so I was like, all right, let's go.
But that's a testament to being adaptable because you don't know. You kind of took a different spin on it, put it in Reels, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, put it on your YouTube channel. Do you have any advice for anybody trying to get into this space right now?
Like if you were trying to start your socials today, I would say like, pick something you really like. Because if you want it, because being an influencer is a long play. It's like a 5 to 7 year before you get viewership. You know what I mean? Like they ask, like people will call into like Gary Vee, you know, he give like social media business advice to people and like, they'll be like, I want to start my YouTube. What do you think? And I agree with him. He'll be like, all right, so are you ready to not to do jack-ish for viewership for about 5 to 7 years?
Right.
How do you feel about that? And they're like, they always get quiet, right? No, but like that's the reality. Like usually it's a slow build. Like I feel like mine was kind of like lottery-ish. Plus, people knew me from ESPN. I think I had a little bit of an advantage going to YouTube. But most people, it's like build it from scratch, right? A couple of my friends, I helped them build their socials by doing collabs and just like advising, and they do good. But it's like really like it's like a slow build. So I would say pick something you really like that you could see yourself doing in 5 years also. And then just try a bunch of stuff because nobody knows what kind of videos will work for them until you like really try it. So I say just like try it, and the more content, the better.
And especially early on when you don't have like a huge following, you're able to try a lot of things. It's like trial and error. And I remember when I had 100,000 followers, I was way more just would throw stuff up and see if it worked. Now I'm a bit more calculated with everything because
totally. Learn so much as you go. And I would say too, if you were going to start it today, just to do vertical content only and try to like really go hard on TikTok and make that your main thing. But with your TikToks, upload them also as IG Reels and then put them on as YouTube as shorts. So now you're only shooting one kind of video and you're just throwing it everywhere.
Shorts is something I absolutely need to do.
Yeah, that'd be my recommendation. I know a girl who's a comedian and she got over 100, or she got to, was it 100,000? I think she got to 100,000 in a year. And then I knew another dude who got to 1 million in like a few months, all shorts.
It's crazy.
Now, mind you, their content's like elite, like it's really good. So therefore it can like go crazy, but YouTube's a hard grind. I'd say you need to be everywhere. Like influence people who only do Instagram or like only do TikTok are doing themselves a disservice because if you're going to be an influencer, the business is really on YouTube. But like if you're well-rounded, your campaigns companies, like, you've done a bunch of campaigns. They'll come to you and be like, hey, we want to do this this whole campaign where it's a 30-second YouTube integration, a post on TikTok, 2 posts on IG, 1 story. And that can pay you a lot.
The more platforms you have to offer, obviously, the more money you can make.
Exactly.
For sure. All right, now that we are at the end of the game, I have some buzzer beaters for you.
Okay.
Break down your ideal courtside fit.
Global Hooper, globalhooper.com.
The best game you've ever sat courtside at.
Season opener. I went to the season opener this year. It was Warriors versus Lakers. So I got to see Steph and LeBron.
Courtside?
Courtside.
That's dope.
Head to head. That was hot. But then it's hard. It was a toss up because on New Year's Eve, I took my dad courtside. We sat right next to the Blazers bench, and he's a diehard Blazer fan.
Okay.
We talked to Lillard. We talked to the coach. We talked to some of the Lakers, and LeBron had 43.
Has there been any NBA players who have complimented you that you were surprised, like even knew who you were?
I think all of them I was like in stride, just because like when they first started showing me love, it was like I was still kind of young, like Steph Curry asked me for a photo when I met him, and this was in 2012, 10 years ago.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, oh, cool, you know what I mean? But you forget, like, I don't know how old he is, but he's like younger. Of course he watched And1. Oh, like when I met D Wade, he was like, oh, I feel like I know you, man. I've seen so much And1. And then like Kyrie follows me on social, probably has since college or high school, Westbrook. So yeah, I think it's always humbling, you know what I mean? Like, it always can surprise you because it'd be arrogant if you were like, yeah, of course you know what I'm saying?
Well, you have to stop and think about it, because I've even had, like Shaq compliment my jump shot, and now we're friends. I consider him a mentor. I'm friends with you now. I have Kobe Bryant like compliment my jump shot, and these people, Snoop Dogg was like, oh, you're Rachel, and I'm like, what? He's like, can I have a picture with you? That was another moment where you get surprised, and we've been in this world for so long. I feel like sometimes we get desensitized to it, but it's cool to take a step back and be like, wow, these are people that I look up to, are also really great. All right, next buzzer beater. If you could sit courtside with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Sit courtside, dead or alive? We gotta go to the Laker game and sit courtside with Michael Jackson. That'd be hard.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick.
And I'm wearing Global Hooper. We're gonna be in photos.
Right? All right, what is one event in history that you would have loved to have been courtside for?
Ooh, one event in history? Dang.
Be a sporting event, could be anything.
Ooh, I'm gonna say 1998, Michael Jordan wins the NBA Finals
The shot?
in Utah for the shot.
Yeah.
That would be hard. That would have been hard to catch courtside.
That would be sick.
That would be hot. That's what came to mind.
Yeah. And who is one athlete that you would love to talk smack from? From the court
talk
side.
smack to?
Talk smack to from courtside. Sorry.
Oh, one athlete. That's hard because like I'm a courtside viewer. I'm just like, I feel grateful to be there. I'm excited. I don't really like talk smack necessarily. That's not my style, but who knows? Oh, Larry Bird. I heard Larry Bird had some of the most vicious
that came
smack
out recently,
talk.
Right?
Well, I've heard it like in hoop circles. You've been known it. Like I known this since like the 90s. I used to hear about it because my trainer, shout out to my trainer, ever since I was little, Rodney Howard, he was roommates with Gary Payton in college at Oregon State. So he used to tell me like iconic hoop stories that like Gary would tell him. So like I knew a lot about MJ and Bird, like even back in the 90s.
Well, Grayson, thank you for joining the Courtside Club, helping us kick this thing off. We're definitely going to have you back.
Hey, thanks for having me. Would love to.
For
Pleasure.
another shooting game. Before we wrap, let the audience know where they can find you.
Definitely. Check me out. YouTube.com/Professor Live. And then I'm The Professor on all other platforms. And check out the clothing, globalhooper.com.
Anything else that we should be on the lookout for?
I have a lot of exciting announcements in crypto coming up, but I don't want to announce them because it's a little bit too soon. So just keep up with me on social, Twitter, IG, all that good stuff.
We're going to have to touch on that next time.
Okay.
Because you have some pretty cool projects in space.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
What's up, guys? It's Rachel DeMita. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Courtside Club. Make sure that you like, rate, and subscribe to ESPN's YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your podcast. We have new episodes coming to you guys every single week, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon.